What's good, Wager World? It's your boy Five Star in Vegas, broadcasting live as always from beautiful Summerlin, Nevada, and here with my co-host, my guy, the only Sacramento Kings fan that I know. What's good, Spread Astaire? How are you today?
Man, I'm doing great. Rough night for our first day back, but fortunately, right, basketball it's an everyday thing. We don't have to wait a week to try and get back on track. We're going to be able to do so tonight. How are you doing?
Oh man, I'm feeling good. Hey, things happen, man. We'll go over it real quick. Let's jump right into it. Let's get into the pad.
Let's start with Oklahoma. They were plus 7.5. They were at Kansas State. I didn't have eyes on it. I watched NBA all night. What did you see?
I watched the first half. They started really strong. Then they allowed Kansas State to spurt on them right before the half and get it to like 9. I'm like, we're still good for the second half. They didn't have any energy, a lot of bad fouls. And what really killed us is they had gotten it within 9 points with about 2 minutes left. You know, with the fouling and the 3-point shot, we were still probably in good range to get the cover. This silly kid, Tanner Groves, decides to have just the most dumb foul and gets a flagrant 2, and it turns from them getting the ball up down 9 with a chance to still get the cover to instead now we got Kansas State shooting 2 free throws and with the ball. So it just was just a bad little move at the end, but it's okay. You know, I like it when we start like this because then you can run off the right people, and we got the right people sticking around for the ride because we're going into March, and we do this every day. We've been doing this a long time, and we always win, man. So we'll get this right back up, and I'll get 2 winners to them today.
All right, yeah, I had a tough one too. I took the Portland Trailblazers. They were at home. They were going against the New Orleans Pelicans, and I thought the Portland Trailblazers would be able to get it done at home. Really interesting game for me there. Blazers came out in the first half. They looked good. I felt pretty strong about my pick. And then in the second half, I mean, I don't want to downgrade the Blazers too much because I bet on them and they lost, but it really felt like the Pelicans raised their level of play, especially on the defensive end. And you really saw how dependent on Dame this team is for offense. Now, I know Jeremy Grant's supposed to be the secondary option there when Anthony Simons isn't in the lineup, but with the Pelicans' size and their ability to switch, he wasn't able to find the matchups that he needed. Once the Pelicans started getting stops, they got out in transition. We saw a great night from Brandon Ingram. So that's what the Pelicans are going to need. This was a huge loss for the Blazers because they're already fighting for that play in position. It was a team that they're right behind in the standings, and then this pushes them back a little further. And the problem is when you get as behind as they are right now, not only do you need to win, you need the other teams to lose. So you can put up a W and you're still not moving up in the standings, especially with the number of teams and how packed it is in there. The good news for the Blazers is Utah appears to be packing it in. They're playing all right basketball. And, of course, the Lakers' injury to LeBron James doesn't make them as potent. But the Lakers got to win without AD and LeBron last night. So the Blazers had a great opportunity. They couldn't take advantage of it. My takeaway from it is maybe upgrade the Pelicans a little bit. So we'll see how that goes from here on out. So interesting night in the NBA. The Celtics didn't cover. That was another one we liked. Did you see that?
Oh, I got the first half. I only took the first half on that
I took
one.
the full game.
Yeah.
First half was great. The Celtics dominated in the third quarter. I wasn't even watching. I flipped back over towards the end. I go, oh my gosh, they might not cover this game. 5, we go, oh, they're going to foul. There was 11 seconds to go. They're up by 4, and they're just throwing the ball up in the air, and the Cavaliers can't even do the foul. You know, it's like, wow. It's really
what's the common theme with both of those games that we spoke about? The game that you gave out, the Blazers that you really liked, and also the Celtics game that you really liked. They both were ESPN nationally broadcast games.
Yeah, I know.
And all the public was right with you on those sides. So that's why I kind of like betting NBA, because the thing about it is if you got a team that's better, like the Bulls were, for instance, like for instance the Celtics were, like the Blazers were, you jump on them first half and the line's not affected. But these games get extremely fishy at the end, as you saw the comeback by the Pistons, who were 12% of the public was on them, 80% were on Chicago, and Chicago covered. So a lot of my friends, including yourself, love the NBA, and I'm starting to get a good feel for the NBA. Actually, the client base, we didn't lose an NBA game yesterday because we actually took the Pelicans second half and live because I could tell how the game was going and by the live numbers that they were throwing up that they kept saying even when the Blazers were up four, the line would be 4.5. You know, he should have shot to 5.5, 6.5, but it stayed right there at that number, telling me that it was going to be close. And in the fourth quarter, pretty much watching that game, what happened is that the Pelicans were able to get stops. Man, their length
Yeah.
really gave Dame some problems
Hmm. And it
defensively.
seemed to me
Man,
it gave Grant even more problems because I was looking for Grant to step up and put forth a good performance, and he
oh,
did.
he missed so many big threes, man. Because I
Yeah.
came back and jumped on our side with it and took the hedge with the pick 'em with them when they went down like I want to say maybe four Blazers went down. Like I will Dame still in range at that number with plus 110. But their length really was giving him a lot of problems, man. Let's get into the present.
All right. We have some good games tonight. Let's dive right in. The 76ers are +4 in Dallas taking on the Mavericks. So, I do the NBA playbook over at runpuresports.com. I give out my plays and my projections for every single game. This is the one game I didn't have a play on.
Right.
And I can blame the lack of information. But let's talk about this game because I think just from a general NBA fans perspective, it's interesting. Kyrie Irving has become a member of the Dallas Mavericks. We all thought this is an upgrade, but so far the results haven't shown that. Now I understand it takes time to acclimate and gain some chemistry with your new teammates, but so far this looks like a failed experiment. Are we jumping the gun by saying that? What do you think about Kyrie and the Dallas Mavericks tonight as they host the 76ers?
2 points about Dallas that people are not taking into consideration. One, Kyrie is a very, very cunning individual. And think about this: if he has success with Dallas, how's it going to look when he leaves in the offseason? If now they freaking win 55 games, get the number two seed, go to the Western Conference Finals, and he says he wants to go to LA. You know, I don't think he's fully invested in there because he never wanted to go to Dallas. Dallas, even the city, doesn't even fit Kyrie's personality. And I know it's a person that lived in Texas for 20 years, So that's number one. Number two, when are people going to come around to the fact that Luka and Harden are a lot more like the people want to, you know, just admit? Their games don't mesh well with other star players, and it isn't winning basketball. What it is driven on is them pretty much being a one man gang offensively, carrying the team and making sure that they get the stats on everything when it comes to assist and scoring, but not giving much effort on defense, and most of all, not knowing how to play without the ball. You just stand in the corner and wait and watch Kyrie go when it's his turn instead of moving off the ball. You're a great shooter, Luka. Why don't you run the people out picks? Why are you just standing there? And that's the difference between Jokic and Luka, and people try to compare them, and I always will put Jokic ahead of him. Have you seen Jokic move without the ball? Like, and he's a big fella, and he's not even standing there. He's making picks. He's moving. He's being active. Luka without the ball does the same thing Harden used to, and maybe it's because they're worn down for going so hard, driving every game to the cup and being such a pounding the ball for so long. But it's not a winning formula. And I just, as I told you, my wife said that she think that they were going to get off together, meaning have a great, score a lot of points and look good. But I told you I didn't think it was going to equal success at all, and we're seeing that. It's going to be tough for them. And tonight, I really like the Sixers. They're on a back-to-back. That's the only thing that pulls me back a little bit. Is Embiid for sure playing? Because I know every now and then he doesn't play back-to-backs, but I'm sure this is a national televised game. Doc probably told him, hey, you want to win MVP, you play these type of games.
So here's my feeling on Embiid. The game was -4 when I
Hmm.
started doing my handicapping this morning, and he was questionable. During the last show I did, the NBA rundown, Embiid was upgraded to probable, and the line moved to 3. So
Hmm.
not for sure, but pretty likely that Embiid's going to be out there.
I like the Sixers money line. Even though on a back-to-back, I still like them. I just think they're a much better team than Dallas is. They're a much better team right now than Dallas is, and would have been a national game. I can see Harden and Embiid doing what's needed to be done to get this victory.
And Tyrese Maxey had a big game last night with Embiid out of the lineup. Even if Embiid doesn't play, Sixers 9-4
Yeah,
straight up without Embiid in the lineup, right? So if you bet
that's
that
right.
76ers money line and you see him ruled out, it's not a death knell to your bet, right?
Right.
The 9-4 without him in the lineup. This is a good team. To your earlier point about Luka and Kyrie, I don't know what's going on with him with his inability to move without the ball. It could just be some stubbornness and he feels like he doesn't need to. I feel that Jokic was taught at a young age to be the roll man in a pick and roll. And so when you watch, I mean, the pick and roll with Jamal Murray is deadly, and it's because he moves towards the hoop and he understands I'm not sprinting, I'm taking up space, right? And if you give me
methodical,
something, I'm going to take care of it. But I think the thing is he was taught from a young age. I think Luka needs to learn that because he's always been the best player on his team, and he's never really had a situation like this from his time at, I think it was Real Madrid. I'm not sure exactly where he played, right? But MVP.
Yeah, he
there,
played at Real. Yeah.
And then he comes to Dallas, and right, he's trying to accommodate Porzingis and Brunson, but they didn't really have the gravity that Kyrie had, especially personality-wise.
Well, he's doing the same thing that him and Kyrie were doing. They throw each other the ball and then put their hands on their knees. You know, like it's just
Brunson?
like
you mean him and Brunson?
Him and Brunson, him and Porzingis, him and Kyrie, they all do the same thing.
You gotta learn how to play.
Either one of them, they all three that have played with him who were, considered his, 1A or 1B, whatever.
Yeah.
They did the same thing. So he has to be the one that's setting that, as in practice, that's what they're doing. Just like, hey man, when it's your turn, go. No, man, that's not. You can't win like this. This is a pickup basketball. They play like that at the Wild, like like me and you, the best two players on the team. We'll, we don't want to offend each other. We want to make sure we both get out. So you just go, and I'm gonna stay out your way. You can't play like that. You got to play together. And hopefully his game, morphs a little bit more into that. And a lot of people, I'm one of the biggest fans of Luka you can find. I got much respect for him. He's a talented kid. I just think that what separates him and Larry Bird is Larry Bird, if like you and I watched him, his ability to make everybody better and play winning basketball. I just don't think Luka plays winning basketball. I think he plays tough basketball, one-on-one macho basketball where he's not going to back down to anyone, and if they need a basket, he's going to go get it. But how effective is that when it comes down to all four quarters when involving your team and keep your other teammates confident?
Yeah, so we'll see. I think that'll be a fun game tonight, but I'm happy to not have any pregame action in this one. I got some action in this next one, though. So our second nationally televised game will be the Los Angeles Clippers. They're in Golden State. They're taking on the Warriors. Clippers are -4. That's okay. So these teams have the same record. The Warriors have won 3 in a row. The Warriors are at home. The Clippers have lost 3 in a row. They're on the road. I don't understand why. I got the Warriors winning this one straight up. I bet the Warriors +4, and I bet the Warriors money line. I also put a smaller bet on the over. I think that the projections that I'm making for the Clippers are low because the pace has increased with Westbrook in the lineup. So I also like the over in this game. But I'm on the Warriors at home here as underdogs. What are your thoughts here?
I mean, I'd have to agree with you. There's no way right now I'm touching the Clippers on the road. I really wouldn't touch them in LA. They're just too. I don't like betting their games at all. You don't know which Clippers team you're going to get because you got nights when Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are who they're supposed to be. They're two of the best players in the NBA. They probably both of them are top 10. Because Paul George sometimes, man, I watch some of the stuff that he's doing out there, and I'm like, God, this kid is nice. And um, maybe they're just waiting for the playoffs to turn on the switch. We'll see when the playoffs get here. But it's just too much. Up and down with them, man. I can't read that team right. When I think they're going to win, they lose. When I think they're going to lose, they're going to win. So I'm just going to enjoy the game and watch it tonight. I'll pass on this one.
All right, I'm on the Warriors. You're going to pass. Let's move over to the college basketball world. We have a Big Ten showdown as Michigan will be in Chicago taking on Illinois. Actually, is Illinois in Chicago? Where's that university at?
Yeah, it's Champaign, right outside of Chicago. Okay. Yeah, it's still the same area. Yeah, it's still that area.
So Michigan in Champaign. Who's going to be popping champagne at the end of this one? Michigan +4.5.
Oh man, this is going to be a tough one to call. I lean Michigan +4.5. I'll probably lay back and catch it in halves in the first half and the second half when I kind of check out the market and see how the money's moving. But yeah, did you know Juwan Howard has beaten every team in the Big Ten, but he's never beaten Brad Underwood in Illinois. We beat them 5 times that they faced each other. Brad Underwood is undefeated against Michigan. But both these are new rosters. These aren't the same rosters that played each other over the past years. We know we don't get a lot of continuance now in college basketball. The thing that makes it a lot less popular than it was when we were younger, because you had a lot of these guys that stayed 3 years and were, household names, but not
Yeah.
anymore. It's a big transfer pool, and both these guys, um, Underwood and Howard, did really good with the transfer pool, getting some guys over there. Both these guys have these transfer rosters now, and they're both continuing to be pretty good. They're both on the bubble. Illinois is right, probably in the last four in right now, while Michigan is still fighting to get a place with the name that they carry. If they have some big wins down the stretch, they just won at Rutgers. Last time they were on the road. I think that they really compete this game. I think Juwan Howard's a prideful dude. He's from Chicago. So I think we get the best from Michigan tonight. So I definitely lean Michigan plus 4.5.
All right, plus 4.5 there for the Michigan Wolverines. The final game we want to talk about for this segment, Purdue -4. They're taking on Wisconsin. What are your thoughts here? Purdue, road favorites.
Purdue has struggled the last 3 weeks, man. They're only 2-4 in their last 6 games with all that talent. Edie, maybe National Player of the Year over there, the closest thing I've seen to Yao Ming. And then you got Wisconsin. They're on the verge of not making the tournament at 16-12 and only going 8-10 in the Big Ten this year. They had some key injuries, but they've been in 22 of the last 23 NCAA tournaments, man. So it's going to be quite disappointing if they don't make it this year. They might be NIT bound, especially with Chucky Hepburn out. That's their star point guard. He's been their starter for the last 3 years. Matter of fact, they beat Purdue last season with him hitting a big three down the stretch. They swept them last year as well. So I think Purdue will be focused. I don't see them being able to stop Edie. He had 41 at Wisconsin last year. I think the Purdue is a little focused on getting some win and getting some good momentum going. Matt Payne is a really good coach, and I think that their downturn is really have him going hard on those guys at practice all week. I just don't see Wisconsin being able to compete, especially with Chucky Hepburn. He's their veteran leader, man. He's going to be out most likely. So I'm going to go with Purdue -4 on this game.
All right, so you like Purdue -4. It's time for the Ball and Parlay. People probably already know what I'm going to have. We'll start with you.
Yeah, man, it's time to clap back. You know how we do. We turn the page. Yesterday we went 0-2, but today we're going 2-0. We're going to go with Arizona at USC. USC is a really good team, really good defense, man. Only allowing 38.9%. They lead the Pac-12, but they're facing the top offensive team in the Pac-12 in the Arizona Wildcats. They're averaging 83 points a game. They're shooting 49% from the field. Arizona's won 4 straight meetings in this, and last 2 visits that they've had to LA. And earlier this year, they dominated the Trojans 81-66. Arizona was also just upset, so this is a good time right now, revenge spot that I really like for the Wildcats. They were upset as 12-point favorites at home against their rival, Arizona State. So the Wildcats, they'll be really focused tonight. They'll be trying to get back on the winning side of things. Their coach, Tommy Lloyd, is really impressive, man. Really good coach. He was Gonzaga's man in waiting, a big recruit over there, and really helped them get a lot of the star players they got over the last couple of years. Well, he came to Arizona, and he's been doing his thing the last 2 years. They've never lost back-to-back games since he's been the head coach, and I think that continues tonight. In 2023, great offense just beats great defense. So we're going with Arizona to continue their dominance over the Trojans tonight. Arizona money line -135 at USC.
All right, you're taking the Arizona money line. I'm going to take the Golden State Warriors +4. Like I said, I believe this line is wrong. We talked about the Mavericks earlier, having to integrate a new ball-dominant player. Clippers are dealing with the same thing here. So it'd be interesting to see how this experiment turned out, and I don't want to make judgments on either of these teams too early, but both have been struggling with these new star players in the lineup. In the long run, though, right? I mean, no pain, no gain. This might end up being good for these teams because if it does work out, the upside is higher than what they would have done if they would have stood pat. But they definitely both, right? Hey, this is a gambling show. Both these teams made a gamble, but I don't think that gamble will pay off tonight. That's a playoff gamble, not a regular season gamble, not against one of the best regular season teams in the NBA, even without Steph, even without Wiggins. Klay Thompson has stepped up, become the star that we remember him as. Maybe not as good on the defensive end. We'll never see that Klay again, but the shooting is back, and that's what this Warriors team needs right now. So give me the Golden State Warriors +4.
All right, so my man spread's going with the Warriors +4. I'm going with the Arizona Wildcats money line -135. You guys bet both of those straight, and you can parlay the two together as a two-teamer. Let's clap back today. You know how we do, guys. Let's get the roll. It's good to see you guys every day again. We're gonna be here Monday through Friday. Anything for the people spread before we get out of here?
Let's have a good one. We'll be back tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Best of luck to y'all. See you tomorrow.